The following program contains graphic language which may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 1888, a killer was on the loose, a faceless killer who targeted prostitutes throughout the foggy streets of London. In 1968, he was remembered, but then they gave him the wrong name. And then in 1988, he came back again. Who was this killer? Where did he come from? What was his motive? Well, tonight, maybe, just maybe, you'll find out yourself and be able to put the clues together. This evening, we will be sharing with you Stephen King's short story, Strawberry Spring. And, well, our culinary dish is something just a little bit stranger. And along with that, we may have some stranger things yet to come on top. So, please stick around and we'll see you after the break. This is the Café Noir.
I get a charge for my delicious strawberry-flavored cereal, Frankenberry.
Here's a switch. My ghostly good blueberry with blueberry-flavored marshmallows to spark up breakfast.
I love Frankenberry strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
You turn me off, Frankenface.
Fiffleberry Boo.
I'm in the dark.
Me too. Me three.
Oh, you can enjoy this nutritious breakfast with blueberry.
Frankenberry.
If the memory of Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Severe trauma at age 12. Brutal self-defense, murder of a psychopathic killer. Boy, they've given him every therapy they can think of. Just wonder his mind isn't fried with all the drugs they've given him.
The mindless, murderous fury that was buried with Jason has been reborn.
Pete!
And suddenly, terror has become child's play. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Friday, March 22nd at a theater near you. Check newspapers.
Welcome back. Now, I thought I would start today's meal with something a little chilly to match the temperatures out there on the East Coast and in the Midwest. And trust me, I do feel for you, because where you guys are getting the icebergs, we're getting all the flames. Which, speaking of iceberg, yes, we are bringing you yet another breakfast. But I think this one will be just a little more fun. And, well, one thing I was thinking is, why not make a homemade whipped cream? And you guys have seen me do this before, but here's a recipe I haven't tried. Found it on the back of one of these dry milk boxes. Again, sometimes milk can be hard to come by. Done the right way, you can pretend what it is. You know, and so we've actually made some of this for what we're going to be doing tonight, as well as we've got some on hand that we are going to be doing right now. So, we are going to start by taking our stuff out of the freezer, which has been in the freezer for 2 days now. Damn, these things are fucking cold. Here we go. Now, we're going to start by taking, let's see, they want 1 cup of ice water. That's the one thing we forgot. Okay, good, I did take it out of the freezer. Let's see. Damn, that one froze. Alright. 1/3 cup cold ice water. A little more drop because I didn't exactly fill it up. Throw that over there. Now, we're going to take a 1/2 cup of our instant dry milk. So, that right here. Stop playing with things. Rubber rat. Gotta be honest. This thing, even when it's open, is almost impossible to rip. Don't mind our company. She has been a nuisance since last night. She thinks everything's a toy. Now, that looks pretty even. So, there you go. Throw that guy in there. Now we take some confection sugar. We got 1/4 cup, which I actually filled up and put in the freezer along with everything else to freeze overnight. Just to make sure it stays chilled. So, our next step is we're going to take our beaters and mix all that up. Damn, these fuckers are cold. That little cat's gonna really get on my nerves. And you're just looking for the high heat. Alright, now that that's mixed up, we're going to add our sugar first. Damn, that really did freeze. Now we're going to take and we're going to add a 1/2 tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. We happen to have that on hand too. Holy shit, those are cold. There we go, 1/2 teaspoon. What the hell happened to my banana extract? Well, shit. Can't seem to find the vanilla, so we'll use banana. That's strawberry. Oh, there it is. Technical difficulties here in the kitchen, as always. one thing you can count on is you can't count on anything going right any time you need it to. Alright, now that we've done that, we're going to add, well, they say 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and we don't have lemon juice, but we have some lemon extract. So we're going to take some lemon extract, fill up 1 tablespoon, and then, you know what? Let's just do 1 more vanilla and call it even Steven. Alright, yeah, I'd say that's just enough. Oh, you did not. You didn't. Good. I don't think it worked. Yeah, I don't think it worked. Okay, so while I figure this out, I suppose I can introduce tonight's story. Stephen King wrote this back in his early years, and it appeared in the same book as we read from last week, Night Shift. Now, this story follows the narrator, unnamed, during his senior year of college as a killer who reminds everybody very much of Jack the Ripper, but note that the facility takes and goes even further back to another killer most of you may not have heard of. So pay attention if you guys would like. At the end of that one, you can go look at the end of tonight, you can go look it up, and I think you'll be interested to find out just what he did to several of his wives. Not a nice guy, not somebody that I want to fucking know. But then again, it goes to prove sometimes you just don't know anybody. And apparently I don't know what I'm doing, so let's just get to the story. This is Strawberry Spring by Stephen King. Strawberry Spring by Stephen King. Spring Hill Jack. I saw those 2 words in the paper this morning, and my God, how they take me back. All that was 8 years ago, almost to the day. Once, while it was going on, I saw myself on nationwide TV, the Walter Cronkite Report, just a hurrying face in the general background, behind the reporter, but my folks picked me out right away. They called long distance. My dad wanted my analysis of the situation. He was all bluff and hearty and man-to-man. My mother just wanted me to come home. But I didn't want to come home. I was enchanted. Enchanted by that dark and mist-blown strawberry spring, and by the shadow of violent death that walked through it on those nights 8 years ago. The shadow of Spring Hill Jack. At New Sharon, the Strawberry Spring began on March 16th, 1968. The coldest winter in 20 years broke on that day, and it rained, and you could smell the sea 20 miles west of the beaches. The snow, which had been 35 inches deep in places, began to melt, and the campus walks ran with slush. The Winter Carnival snow sculptures, which had been kept in sharp, clear cut for 2 months by the sub-zero temperatures, at last began to sag and slouch. The caricature of Lyndon Johnson in front of the Tep fraternity house cried melted tears. The dove in front of the Parshner Hall lost its frozen feathers, and its plywood skeleton sadly shone through in places. And when night came, the fog came with it, moving silent and white along the narrow college avenues and thoroughfares. The pines on the wall poked through it like counting fingers, and it drifted slow as cigarette smoke under the little bridge bound by the Civil War cannons. It made things seem out of joint, strange, magical. The unwary traveler would step out of the juke-thumping, brightly lit confusion of the grinder, expecting the hard, clear starriness of winter to clutch him. And instead, he would suddenly find himself in a silent, muffled world of white, drifting fog. The only sound, his own footsteps, and the soft drip of water from ancient gutters. You half expected to see Gollum or Frodo and Sam go hurrying past, or to turn and see that the grinder was gone, vanished, replaced by a foggy paranormal of moors and yew trees, and perhaps a druid circle or a sparkling fairy ring. The jukebox played Love Is Blue that year. It played Hey Jude endlessly. It played Scarborough Fair. And at 10 minutes after 11 on that night, a junior named John Dancy, on his way back to the dormitory, began screaming into the fog, dropping books on and between the sprawled legs of the dead girl lying in a shadowy corner of the Animal Sciences parking lot. Her throat cut ear to ear, but her eyes open and almost seeming to sparkle, as if she had just successfully pulled off the funniest joke of her young life. Dancy, an education major and a speech minor, screamed and screamed and screamed. The next day was overcast and sullen. We went to classes with questions eager in our mouths. Who? Why? When do you think they'll get them? And always the final thrilled question, did you know her? Did you know her? Yes, I had an art class with her. Yes, one of my roommate's friends dated her last term. Yes, she asked me for a light once in the grinder. She was at the next table. Yes. Oh, yes, We all knew her. Her name was Gail Kerman, pronounced Kerman. She was an art major. She wore granny glasses and had a good figure. She was well liked, but her roommates had hated her. She'd never gone out much, even though she was one of the most promiscuous girls on campus. She was ugly but cute. She had been a vivacious girl who talked little and smiled seldom. She had been pregnant and had leukemia. She was a lesbian who'd been killed by her boyfriend. It was Strawberry Spring, and on the morning of March 17th, we all knew Gail Kerman. Half a dozen state police cars crawled onto campus. Most of them parked in front of Judith Franklin Hall, where the Kerman girl had lived. On my way past her to my 10 o'clock class, I was asked to show my student ID. I was clever. I showed him the one without the fangs. Do you carry a knife? The policeman asked cunningly. Is it about Gail Kerman? I asked after I told him that the most lethal thing on my person was a rabbit's foot keychain. What makes you ask? He pounced. I was 5 minutes late to class. It was Strawberry Spring, and no one walked by themselves through the half-academical, half-fantastical campus that night. The fog had come again, smelling of the sea, quiet and deep. Around 9 o'clock, my roommate burst into our room where I had been busting my brains on a Milton essay since 7. They caught him, he said. I heard it over at the grinder. From who? I don't know, some guy. Her boyfriend did it. His name is Carl Amalara. I settled back, relieved and disappointed. With a name like that, it had to be true. A lethal and sordid little crime of passion. Okay, I said. That's good. He left the room to spread the news down the hall. I reread my Milton essay, couldn't figure out what I'd been trying to say, tore it up and started again. It was in the papers the next day. There was an incongruously neat picture of Amalara, probably a high school graduation picture, and it showed a rather sad-looking boy with an olive complexion, dark eyes, and pockmarks on his nose. The boy had not confessed yet, but the evidence against him was strong. He and Gail Kerman had been arguing a great deal the last month or so, and had broken up the week before. Amalara's roomie had said he'd been despondent. In a footlocker under his bed, police had found a 7-inch hunting knife from L.L. Bean's, and a picture of the girl who had apparently been cut up with a pair of shears. Beside Amalara's picture was one of Gail Kerman. It blurrily showed a dog, a peeling lawn flamingo, and a rather mousy blonde girl wearing spectacles. An uncomfortable smile had turned her lips up, and her eyes were squinted, one hand on the dog's head. It was true then. It had to be. The next morning, the clamor in the hall woke me. I blundered out of bed to see who had been drafted, combing my hair with both hands and running a fuzzy caterpillar that had craftily replaced my tongue across the roof of my dry mouth. "He got another one," someone said to me, his face pallid with excitement. "They had to let him go." "Who go?" "Amalara," someone said gleefully. "He was sitting in jail when it happened." "When what happened?" I asked patiently. Sooner or later I would get it. I was sure of that. "The guy killed somebody else last night, and now they're hunting all over for it." "For what?" The pallid face wavered in front of me again. "Her head! Whoever killed her took her head with him!" New Sharon isn't a big school now, and it was even smaller then.
On Friday, August 13th, an all-new three-dimensional process will put you in the picture, whether you want to be there or not. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. Join Jason in the woods on his day, if you dare. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. Rated R.
Friday the 13th, Part 3 opens Friday the 13th at selected theaters and drive-ins.
I can't count how many big, hard tapes I've had inside of me. Sometimes I'll take several in a row. I can never get enough. Pick up the phone and let me rev your cassette.
There's good reason for my glistening skin, and how I shine, and how my pores are so clean and clear. I eat little baby's ice cream. It keeps me young. It keeps me light on my feet. I spring from activity to activity. I love my job. I love my life. When you eat little baby's ice cream, you'll wink and nod and hug and high-five each other with great enthusiasm. This is a special time. Little baby's ice cream.
And here we are, back. I gotta tell you, the first time I heard this story, I must have been probably 12, maybe 11 or 12 years old. And it was the audio book. This story right here literally made it every time that my mom had to go to the CLC in Lake County. I wouldn't go near the place. I wouldn't go near any colleges at all, especially in the wintertime. I just steered clear, wouldn't go. And one day my mom asked me why, and I was like, you know that Stephen King book that I like so much? Man, what if there really is like a Jack the Ripper type guy wandering around Lake? And you know, if you take a good hard look at Round Lake Beach, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not hard to believe now. That was the 80s. So we're going to start by making our blueberry muffins. Again, just got a cheap mix. We're not going to doctor that up much, but instead of using water, we're going to use our dried milk that we turned into milk last night. Now, to make sure that we can compensate for the extra liquid, because I don't want to have extra, we're going to add our food coloring to our mix. So before we pour that milk, we are going to take and we're going to drop, I don't know, just a whole bunch of blue in there. Fuck it, let's make it fucking really blue, like Smurf cum blue. Something like that. Now, we're going to take a half a cup of milk. Two-thirds cup milk. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. And now, our mix. Now, a lot of people like to whisk. I would normally whisk, but I want these to come out a little fluffier, especially since I am using the milk instead of water. See, water keeps it real thin, and even though it's powdered milk, it's still going to be thicker than the water. So we're just going to blend these on a low real quick. If you were listening, did you guys notice during the story how when they were talking about how everybody thought they caught them and they're all excited, only to find out a couple days later, no, guy killed somebody else, they had to let Amalara go. That's the problem with rumors spreading. And I think, now this is my opinion, but that's the biggest reason liberalism is spreading like the Black Plague. Because, quite frankly, most of liberalism is founded on lies, deceit, fake news, and false information. Just an opinion. Alright, that looks good. So, alright. Take these. Got our pre-sprayed pan here. And the way I'm going to do this is to make sure I don't have too much of a mess. I'm going to use my tablespoon measuring spoon so I can make sure that these do what they're supposed to do. No mess tonight. I don't feel like cleaning. Now, because I said that, I'm going to have to clean a huge fucking mess. Watch. You only want to go up a little bit into the cup, because these are going to rise as they're cooking. Of course, that's with these cups. Now, if you guys will get a good look here, I've got a skull mold, latex mold thing, and this guy right here, we're still learning how to make these skull molds work without being fucked up and psycho. As you guys well know, every single time we use these, there's a mess at the end. So I'm going to go up about that high. No, maybe that's too high. Here, let's pull some of that out. There, about that high. Right there. And we're going to set this. I've got a cup down in here that I filled with some regular just tap water, so it doesn't burn. And we're going to slide that in on top of the cup, and that's going to keep it sturdy in our oven while we're cooking. Now, let's get the rest of these filled up. And I don't know about you guys, but the more I listen to this, the more I am getting involved. And I got to thinking, shit, I just made a fucking... we're going to have to come back after these messages. We'll see you right here in the Café Noir after I clean this mess. Ah, shit. Damn it. Damn. Fuck.
Feeling warm, come and see my charm. If you're feeling hot, don't talk a lot.
Sporty England came to a standstill 9 times at the turn of the century with the arrival of Jack the Ripper. He left no clues, no leads, just a ghoulish sight of mutilated prostitutes' bodies. Enter the terrifying and murderous world of Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, the brutal assassin of women. The doctor who by day performs surgery and by night butchery.
What are you gaping at?
I think there's a shark in the Thames.
What do you mean?
A shark called Jack the Ripper.
We must notify Scotland Yard. I saw him kill the girl.
It's clear the killer is
Jack the Ripper.
It was Jack the Ripper. The Ripper again.
Once a lively young lass, and now some bloodstains on a wall.
I am your dream girl. You can do anything you want with me.
I've had enough of you.
Please, not that.
Doctor, escape! The police are here!
Jack the Ripper. Just close your eyes and whisper his name. Jack the Ripper.
You want what you think.
100 years ago, there was a series of murders so grisly.
Some theorize that Jack the Ripper was a medical man. I believe that would also apply in this case.
Human mutilations so meticulous.
My brother didn't kill anybody.
That an entire city was paralyzed in fear. Now, 100 years later to the day, the Ripper has returned. Jack's back.
And welcome back. Now, you know, I had to kind of bring the fog out from the story. And as we sit here and we watch as it just swivels around, taking up the screen, imagine being in an empty street in 1968. Nothing but the halos of streetlights and the murmuring shadows of pedestrians walking by. And the whole time, you just don't know what lies behind that fog in your face. You never know who you may meet or what you may find. You know, There's still just too much light. Let's fix that. I guess you'd have to expect to see Frodo and Sam now, huh? This is the Café Noir, and I am the Café Killer. You're watching Stephen King's, well, I guess not really watching, but you're listening to Stephen King's Strawberry Spring. The kind of institution the public relations people chumly referred to as community college. And it really was like a small community, at least in those days. Between you and your friends, you probably had at least a nodding acquaintance with everybody else and their friends. Gail Kerman was the type of girl you just nodded to, thinking vaguely that you'd seen her around. We all knew Anne Bray. She had been the first runner-up at the Miss New England pageant the year before. Her talent performance consisting of twirling a flaming baton to the tune of "Hey, Look Me Over." She was brainy, too. Until the time of her death, she had been editor of the school newspaper, a once-weekly rag with a lot of political cartoons and bombastic letters, a member of the Student Dramatic Society, and president of the National Service Sorority, New Sharon Branch. In the hot, fierce bubblings of my freshman youth, I had submitted a column idea to the paper and asked for a date. Turned down on both accounts. And now she was dead. Worse than dead. I walked to my afternoon classes like everyone else, nodding to people I knew and saying hi with a little more force than usual, as if it would make up for the close way I was studying their faces, which was the same way they were studying mine. There was someone dark among us, as dark as the paths which twisted across the mall and wound around the 100-year-old oaks in the quad in the back of the gymnasium, as dark as the hulking Civil War cannons seen through the drifting membrane of fog. We looked into each other's faces and tried to read the darkness behind one of them. This time the police arrested no one. The Blue Beetles patrolled the campus ceaselessly on the foggy spring nights of the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Spotlights stabbed into the dark nooks and crannies with erotic eagerness. The administration imposed a mandatory 9 o'clock curfew. A foolhardily couple was discovered necking in the landscape behind the bushes north of the Tatum Alumni Building. They were taken into New Sharon Police Station, grilled unmercifully for 3 hours. There was a hysterical false alarm on the 12th when a boy was found unconscious in the same parking lot where the body of Gail Kerman had been found. A gibbering campus cop loaded him into the back of his cruiser, put a map of the county over his face without bothering to hunt for a pulse, and started toward the local hospital, sirens wailing like a seminar of banshees. Halfway there, the corpse in the back seat had risen and asked hollowly, Where the hell am I? The cop shrieked and ran off the road. The corpse turned out to be an undergrad named Donald Morris, who had been in bed the last 2 days with a pretty lively case of the flu. Was it Asian that year? I can't remember. Anyway, he'd fainted in the parking lot on his way to the grinder for a bowl of soup and some toast. The days continued, warm and overcast. People clustered in small groups and had a tendency to break up and reform with surprising speed. And the speed with which rumors swept from one end of campus to the other began to approach the speed of light. A well-liked history professor had been overheard laughing and weeping down by the small bridge. Gail Kerman had left a cryptic 2-word message written in her own blood on the blacktop of the Animal Sciences parking lot. Both murders were actually political crimes, ritual murders that had been performed by an offshoot of the SDS to protest the war. This was really laughable. The new Sharon SDS had only 7 members. One fair-sized offshoot would have bankrupted the whole organization. This fact brought even more sinister embellishment from the campus right-wingers. Outside agitators. So during those queer, warm days, we all kept our eyes peeled for them. The press, always fickle, ignored the strong resemblance our murderer bore to Jack the Ripper and dug further back, all the way to 1819. The police announced that they were assaulting plainclothes detectives, men and women about, and took half the police cars off duty. The campus newspaper published a strong, indignant, if slightly incoherent editorial protesting this. The upshot seemed that with all sorts of cops masquerading as students, it would be impossible to tell the real outside agitator from the false one. Twilight came, and the fog with it, drifting up the tree-lined avenues, slowly, almost thoughtfully, blotting out the buildings one by one. It was soft, insubstantial stuff, but somehow implacable and frightening. Spring Hill Jack was a man. No one seemed to doubt that. But the fog was his accomplice. And it was female, or so it seemed to me. It's as if our little school was caught between them, squeezed in some lover's embrace, part of a marriage that had been consummated in blood. I sat there and smoked, and watched the lights come on, growing in the darkness, and wondered if it was all over. My roommate came in and shut the door quietly behind him. "It's going to snow soon," he said. I turned and I looked at him. "Does the radio say that?" "No," he said. "Who needs a weatherman? Have you ever heard of Strawberry Spring?" Maybe, I said. "A long time ago. Something grandmothers talk about, isn't it?" He stood beside me, looking out the creeping dark. "Strawberry Spring is like Indian summer," he said. "Only much more rare. You get a good Indian summer in this part of the country once every 2 or 3 years. A spell of weather like we're having is supposed to come only 8 or 10. It's a false spring, a lying spring, like Indian summer is a false summer. My grandmother used to say Strawberry Spring means the worst of the norther is yet to come. And the longer it lasts, the harder the storm." "Folk tales," I said. "Never believe a word of it." I looked at him. "But I'm nervous. Are you?" He smiled benevolently and stole one of the cigarettes off the open pack on the window ledge. "I suspect everyone but me and thee." And then his smile faded a little. "And sometimes I wonder about thee."
After these messages,
we'll be right back.
This is an effort to reach men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces. It concerns benefits reserved exclusively for honorably discharged veterans aged 30 to 75. Please use the toll-free number to respond. Call now for free information on a veterans-only life insurance plan that costs just $1 a week. When you qualify, you lock in the highest possible benefit amount available to you. These veterans' life insurance benefits are guaranteed never to go down. You are eligible if you served during peacetime or war, active duty or reserves, or any branch of service. Call now, and you'll also get a free guide to veterans' benefits that explains government benefits you may be entitled to collect. Only veterans, their spouses, and widows aged 30 to 75 qualify for this exclusive offer. Term life insurance for just $1 a week. Don't wait. Call this toll-free number now for your free information and free guide to veterans' benefits from Veterans Life Insurance Company.
Confessions. Romantic confessions. True romantic confessions. Need a little romance in your life? Listen in. Find out what's really going on. You'll be amazed.
Calls cost $5 per minute. Adults only.
True romantic confessions. Listen as people confess their most interesting secrets. Come on, you will love it. True romantic confessions. You know you want to listen. Call now.
You can enjoy the world of beauty, excitement, and adventure. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this art test from Art Instruction Schools, you can find out if you have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. So to get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-USA-9898. That's 1-800-USA-9898.
What kind of woman likes to have fun in the sun? The same kind that likes to have fun on the phone. You can call and share the best conversation anytime, whenever you want to have a little fun. She's a special woman, the kind that's easy to talk to. And if you'd rather just listen, well, she's got the sweetest voice you'll ever hear. So pick up your phone and have some fun. Call now. $3.99 per minute, must be over 18.
Call now.
This is no ordinary conversation line. You can hear the difference. The women are bright, beautiful, and waiting to talk to you. You'll enjoy the best conversation you've ever had. Just call now and find out for yourself.
The right woman makes all the difference in the world.
First 18 seconds free. $3.99 per minute, must be over 18.
Welcome back. So, are you guys ready to get strange? Stranger Things presents glow-in-the-dark waffle mix. And I like the back here. If you look on the back right here, it says, "How does it glow?" I'll tell you how it glows. They added shit to this mix that I'd rather not know about. And even though they do mention the ingredients, some questions are better left unanswered. Kind of like, why does a Marlboro taste like shit today, and in 1992 tasted like a fucking beautiful dream, and the Marlboro man was riding down like a cowboy down the hill, hoping to save the lady on the fucking tracks. Today, you taste the Marlboro, and you might as well be smoking a fucking piece of air. It's not even worth the money, and they charge some of the most prices. Matter of fact, that's why when I roll, well, I'll tell you what, I like to roll with my puff. Because I'll tell you something. When you puff on a puff, whether it be a cigarette or a joint, it's tough enough to be just what you need. And don't forget to buy the rolls and roll one of them up. Puff, puff, pass a roll. Sorry, a little shameless promotion there by people who are helping me do the show. Anyway, so what we gotta do, we're gonna take this entire fucking bag and dump it in here. Just like that. There we go. And now they say milk. Well, actually, they say use water. We're gonna use milk. Oh, I need that bag back. Shit. Oh, that hurts. 3 cups. Yeah, I was right. So we're going to do 1 cup of our powdered milk mix. Yeah, fuck it. You got 1 1/3 cup of that powdered shit. We're going to do the rest with real milk. These are good. I ain't going to ruin these. There we go. There we go. 2 cups of milk. Gotta go for 1 more. Oh yeah, there we go. I think I know what's missing. Okay, mix this up real good. It says don't beat out the lumps, so we're not going to beat out the lumps. And I've just got to see. I've just got to see for my own self. Turn out that light! You younger kids wouldn't get that joke. Looney Tunes back in the 40s when they were still good. Alright, we'll get you guys a better look at this at the end of the show. Now I'm working in the dark. Isn't this fun? Alright, we got it. Yeah, well, so I spilled it. Little spillage never hurt. Here we go. And there you guys go. If you can look down here on that little camera, this is what our mix looks like. When we come back from the conclusion of Strawberry Spring, I'll have the black lights in here hooked up a lot better, and I'll give you guys a much better view.
Feeling warm, come and see my charm. If you're feeling hot, don't talk a lot.
Sporty England came to a standstill 9 times at the turn of the century with the arrival of Jack the Ripper. He left no clues, no leads, just a ghoulish sight of mutilated prostitutes' bodies. Enter the terrifying and murderous world of Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, the brutal assassin of women. The doctor who by day performs surgery and by night butchery.
What are you gaping at?
I think there's a shark in the Thames.
What do you mean?
A shark called Jack the Ripper.
We must notify Scotland Yard. I saw him kill the girl.
It's clear the killer is
Jack the Ripper.
It was Jack the Ripper. The Ripper again.
Once a lively young lass, and now some bloodstains on a wall.
I am your dream girl. You can do anything you want with me.
I've had enough of you.
Please, not that.
Doctor, escape! The police are here!
Jack the Ripper. Just close your eyes and whisper his name. Jack the Ripper.
You want what you think.
100 years ago, there was a series of murders so grisly.
Some theorize that Jack the Ripper was a medical man. I believe that would also apply in this case.
Human mutilations so meticulous.
My brother didn't kill anybody.
That an entire city was paralyzed in fear. Now, 100 years later to the day, the Ripper has returned. Jack's back.
Want to go over to the Union and shoot some 8-ball? I'll spot you 10. Trig prelim next week. I'm going to settle down with a magic marker and a hot pile of notes. For a long time after he was gone, I could only look out the window. And even after I had opened up my book and started in, part of me was still out there, walking in the shadows, where something dark was now in charge. That night, Adele Perkins was killed. 6 police cars and 7 collegiate-looking plainclothes men, 8 of them women, imported all the way from Boston, patrolled the campus. But Spring Hill Jack killed her just the same, going unerringly for one of our own. The false Spring, the lying Spring, aided and abetted him. He killed her and left her propped behind the wheel of her 1964 Dodge to be found the next morning. They found part of her in the back seat and part of her in the trunk. And written in blood on the windshield, this time fact instead of rumor, were 2 words. Ha, ha. The campus went slightly mad after that. All of us and none of us had known Adele Parkins. She was one of those nameless, hurried women who worked the breakback shift in the grinder from 6 to 11 at night, facing hordes of hamburger-hungry students and study break from the library across the way. She must have had it relatively easy those last 3 foggy nights of her life. The curfew was being rigidly observed, and after 9, the grinder's only patrons were hungry cops and happy janitors. The empty buildings had improved their habitual bad temper considerably. There is little left to tell. The police, as prone to hysteria as any of us, and driven against the wall, arrested an innocuous homosexual sociology graduate student named Hanson Gray, who claimed he could not remember where he had spent several of the lethal evenings. They charged him, arraigned him, and let him go to scamper hurriedly back to his native New Hampshire town after the last unspeakable night of Strawberry Spring, when Marcia Curran was slaughtered on the mall. Why she had been out and alone is forever beyond knowing. She was a fat, sadly pretty thing who lived in an apartment in town with 3 other girls. She had slipped on campus as silently and easily as Spring Hill Jack himself. What brought her? Perhaps her need was as deep, as unforgovernable as her killers, and just as far beyond understanding. Maybe a need for one desperate, passionate romance with the warm night, the warm fog, the smell of the sea, and the cold knife. That was on the 23rd. On the 24th, the president of the college announced that the spring break would be moved up a week, and we scattered, not joyfully, but like frightened sheep before a storm, leaving the campus empty and haunted by the police and one dark specter. I had my own car on campus, and I took 6 people downstate with me, their luggage crammed in helter-skelter. It wasn't a pleasant ride. For all any of us knew, Spring Hill Jack might have been in the car with us. That night, the thermometer dropped 15 degrees, and the whole northern New England area was belted by a shrieking norther that began in sleet and ended in a foot of snow. The usual number of old duffers had heart attacks, shoveling it away. Then, like magic, it was April. Clean showers and starry nights. They called it Strawberry Spring. God knows why. And it's an evil, lying time that only comes once every 8 or 10 years. Spring Hill Jack left with the fog, and by early June, campus conversation had turned to a series of draft protests and sit-ins at the building where well-known napalm manufacturer was holding job interviews. By June, the subject of Spring Hill Jack was almost unanimously avoided, at least aloud. I suspect there were many who turned it over privately, looking for that one crack in the seamless egg of madness that would make sense of it all. That was the year I graduated. Next year, I was married. A good job in a local publishing house. In 1971, we'd had a child. Now he's almost school age. A fine and questioning boy with eyes and her mouth. Then today's paper. Of course I knew it was here. I knew it yesterday morning when I got up and heard the mysterious sound of snow melt running down the gutters and smelt the salt tang of the ocean from our front porch 9 miles from the nearest beach. I knew strawberry spring had come again when I started home from work last night and had to turn on my headlights against the mist that had already begun to creep out of the fields and hollows, blurring the lines of the buildings and putting fairy halos around street lamps. This morning's paper says a girl was killed on the new Sharon campus near the Civil War cannons. She was killed last night and found in a melting snowbank. She was not all there. My wife is upset. She wants to know where I was last night. I can't tell her because I can't remember. I remember starting home from work. I remember putting on my headlights to search my way through the lovely creeping fog. That's all I remember. I've been thinking about that foggy night when I had a headache and walked for air and passed all the lovely shadows without shape or substance. And I've been thinking about the trunk of my car. Such an ugly word. Trunk. I'm wondering why I would be afraid to open it. I can hear my wife as I write this in the next room crying. She thinks I was with another woman last night and... oh my God. I think so too.
Big news about the World Wrestling Federation. Now you can get a front row seat to the WWF's most exciting action-packed matches as the greatest superstars in the WWF match up for non-stop fast-paced action. And it's all on a special video collector's series, not available in any store at any price. It's the WWF Collector's Edition, and it's yours now at the special introductory price of just $4.95. Yes, just $4.95 brings you your first exciting video, the best of WrestleMania. 60 minutes of legendary action featuring the Macho Man Randy Savage squaring off against the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase for the Undisputed Championship. You'll also see Jake the Snake unleash his secret weapon in a thriller versus Andre the Giant. The emotional reunion between Miss Elizabeth and the Macho Man, plus much, much more. Just $4.95 brings you all this non-stop action forever on video cassette. This special WWF Collector's Edition video series is not available in any store at any price. Call now to bring the best of the World Wrestling Federation right into your living room to enjoy again and again forever on video cassette. You'll see the biggest superstars in the WWF at their body-slamming, clothes-lining best. The Immortal Hulk Hogan, the Legion of Doom, The Undertaker, the $1 Million Man, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Bret the Hitman Hart, The Natural Disasters, and many others. Call now to get in on all the action on video cassette. Get your first WWF Collector's Edition video, the best of WrestleMania, for just $4.95. Call now. To get your first WWF Collector's Edition video for just $4.95, use your credit card and call now. This WWF video series is available exclusively from Columbia House Video. Call now.
Have you been searching for that special friend? Are you looking for someone with whom you can share your innermost thoughts and feelings?
Don't keep us waiting. Call 1-900-820-3399. $4.99 per minute adults only.
Do you think I could be your friend? I hope so. Why don't you pick up the phone and call? I see no reason why you shouldn't.
welcome back. That was Stephen King's Strawberry Spring, written in March of 1968. Well, probably written before then, I would assume, because it was published in March of 68. Showed up again in 1977 in a short collection, or a collection of short stories, Night Shift. Everybody knows it. It's one of his first, like, big fucking sellers. Oh, shit. And, wow, this stuff is really thick. Okay. Damn. We're gonna find out here in a second.
And it's not plugged in.
Oh, it's plugged in. It's cooking. Yeah! She's frying now! She's frying now! Yeah! For those of you who know, you know. But, no, this story has always intrigued me. Always. And it's always been, probably in my opinion, one of his most scary stories, next to another feature I would like to eventually narrate and bring to you guys here. Any of you who may be familiar with the new Creepshow series on Shudder, one of their first episodes they did was a rendition of Gray Matter, about a man who got hurt at work, started taking to the drinking, and then one day, after sending his boy out for a case, gets a bad can. Well, he keeps getting that bad can, and eventually nature is known to take its course. So we're hoping to bring that one to you guys sometime in the next month or two, but that's one that's going to take some time to do the work so that we can bring you quality visuals and quality audio, just like we try to always give you quality food. Let's see here. Whoa. There we go. That's a hot little bitch. Whew. So let's spray this down again, and we'll start another cut. Start another one. Now, for those of you watching, we're going to have that little camera here, and you'll be able to get a better look at what I'm doing here. This is just so we can actually communicate. Okay, I'm really stoned. We haven't had any alcohol tonight, and the coffee's really got me buzzing, so... Alright. Got another one going in there. Shit, did I spray that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, next week, our story is going to be a longer one, and we're going to be bringing you, well, not next week, the next time we see you. I don't know if we're going to be on next week. Things busy in the background of the kitchen here. Once the cafe shuts down tonight, we're going to be shut down for probably a good week or two. When we come back, though, we're going to be bringing you guys a longer story, another one that I narrated, and one of, if not my favorite story in the entire book. It's called I Know What You Need. And this story, I've got to be honest, is positively one of the most psychologically what's the word I'm looking for? It's psychologically damaging if you do not understand black magic and certain things in that nature. Stephen King in this one really went to a dark place. I mean, and it's one I've been hearing for years. And this one in particular, I didn't even hear the audio I had read the short story, because the same time I got that audio book, I had the book. And I skipped ahead and actually read that story. That story, it will rip your head apart if you don't understand certain things. And we're going to be kind of going over a lot of that as the story progresses, because there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of fucking falsities. Me personally, I don't dabble in it, but I understand it. As far as my religious beliefs, well, let's just say I'm happy enough to give you my political beliefs. I don't feel the need to get into religion. I know there's somebody up there, and somehow or other I pissed him off. We're going to leave it at that. All right. Now, once we pull these off of here, we're going to be trying to check them out in our black lights right here. And we're going to take a look and see if this actually worked. Now, I tell you the truth, I don't expect miracles, I don't expect TV quality, but I do think if we did it right and if the package does what it does promise, we'll get a pretty cool looking breakfast. Anyway, if you guys are wondering why I seem so sidetracked tonight, the truth is this story that we read this evening, I just reread last night and stayed up half the night fucking reading it. And then my 3 cats decided to rip through the fucking house and bring a hurricane with them. So we're going on about 2 hours of sleep and a whole lot of fucking coffee. Oh shit! Oh. Not quite yet. Yeah, we're gonna make a few more of these waffles, and you know, actually, I think this is probably a good time to go to a commercial break while I collect my thoughts and we get a couple more of these done and prep our black lights. Oh, and before I let you guys go, one thing just kind of occurred to me when we were hanging out a second ago. Oh shit. Did you guys notice in the story how there were little hints throughout the narrator's thoughts and reactions, right down to, I was clever. I showed him the one without the fangs. You know? Or in the hall, or in the dorm room, when everybody's running through and they're like, they caught him. He's like, caught who? What? And he just, later on, as he describes that he had a headache, he walked for air all the way to the end. And he starts thinking about the trunk of his car. And another dead girl, 8 years later, is found by the same cannons. There's subtle hints throughout the whole story telling you that the narrator is the killer. So one thing I challenge you guys to do is right here on this channel, down somewhere if you scroll down my list of videos, you will find that story. Just the narration, no kitchen. I challenge you guys to go back, check that out, listen to it, and then come back here and leave me some comments of your thoughts in the description below. And for those of you out there who are listening tonight and really into the story, I'd like to hear your thoughts tonight as we're watching and hanging out live, right? And let me know what you guys think. Give me your opinions. I'd like to hear it. But anyway, yeah, this is a point where I'm going to take a break. And Yeah, we'll talk to you guys in a minute. Shit!
At Domino's, we took all the best things about pizza and put them on our new crispy loaded tots. Melty cheese, melty cheese. Mouth-watering toppings, mouth-watering toppings. Potato, potato. Try our new crispy loaded tots with your favorite pizza. Only at Domino's.
Welcome, dear.
Avoid the Noid. Domino's Pizza delivery.
You know, here in the kitchen, we seem to run into all kinds of problems. Several disasters a night. And I'll tell you, after a long night in a hot kitchen or over a hot grill, nothing tastes better than the smooth, all-natural flavors of Montego cigarettes. See, when my granddaddy was young, he liked his Chesterfields. When my daddy was young, he liked his Camels. Me, I was always partial to Marlboro. And then I found Montego. Enjoy the refreshing, all-natural flavor of Montego cigarettes. Five. You know, when I want to smoke a joint, I like to puff. It's the one and only paper out there that truly lets you know that you're smoking quality. And remember, the American way always was quality. So, the next time you run out to the store, grab yourself a pack of puff. And if the puff just isn't your thing, and you just want a good old-fashioned cigarette, well, my friends, we got you covered there. Try a roll. Roll that up and have yourself a smoke out of a quality paper. Puff and roll are now available in select locations. And don't forget to try the Kings. All natural 100% hemp. step. I added that piece because I didn't want to have commentary there. I wanted to get a good, honest look myself. So now I'm asking you guys, what'd you think? You know, did they glow? Could they have glowed better? So, you guys tell me what you think, and if you guys have tried this at home, tell me what you think and what I should do. In the meantime, it was still cool. I'm still going to enjoy them. In fact, I did get a little taste behind the scenes, and they weren't bad. Now, we're going to take, and we're going to cooking spray. We're going to spray this down. Just like that. Do a little extra, make sure it's nice and... Don't want any more of an extra fucking... There we go. Oh, he's getting excited already. You guys have all met Thing. Well, this is Thing's cousin. He decided to come out and visit, and we told him if he wanted, he was just welcome to stay. I guess the Adams house is just a little too busy for him. He likes it more mellow. So now, first we're going to take, we got some eggs, 4 of them. But before we start those, we got some brown and served sausage, and we're going to throw these on here. There you go. Give those a chance to cook nice and... Man, I'm telling you, that story really was a good story. It got under my skin a little bit, I think. I've been thinking about it because I'm listening along with you guys, mostly because I'm trying to keep up. I don't want to be behind. And as I'm listening, I'm like, I forgot it was me reading it. And all I could think is, I'm like, holy shit. Especially out here where I live in California, some of those foggy mornings, it can kind of get like that. I've gone out there sometimes just to grab a morning fresh breath before my coffee. It's so foggy, you can't even see across the parking lot. It's like, holy shit. It almost makes you think of The Fog. I'm not talking about the new remake or whatever. I won't even give these remakes a time of day. I don't like remakes. That's not necessarily true. I have seen 3 movies that were remade from the original that are actually very good movies. 3 movies. The first one is the remake of the original Night of the Living Dead in 1990. George Romero's original classic was redone by Tom Savini. Everybody who knows Tom Savini, he did Friday the 13th makeup work. In fact, he created the very first Jason as a child that comes up out of the lake and grabs Alice and drags her back down at the end of the movie. The Boy. What about The Boy? He did that work. Well, he went back and he remade that movie with George Romero's help. That was an awesome remake, and in fact, that was one I appreciate. That not only did they redo it shot for shot, but they actually got actors who looked like the original cast. But at the same time, I also like how, where in the 1968, the chick is just basically kind of fucking useless, right? Now in the new one, I like how 45 minutes in, she's just like, you told me to fight. Well, I'm gonna fight. Anybody out there totally, matter of fact, check this out. Like, nope, that's Stephen King. Where'd it go? It's down this way. Here we go. Down here with the Evil Dead. Nope, that's Psycho. There we go. Ow! This, right here. Night of the Living Dead, George Romero's classic. be careful, by the way. There are several DVDs and Blu-rays out there that are fucked up. The lighting's fucked up. Especially the newer editions. This one's an older edition. I was very lucky to find this. Believe it or not, I found this at Dollar General. $10. So, I was lucky. But this movie right here, this is a remake that I love, and I can actually appreciate as much, if not a little bit more, than the original. Another one would be House on Haunted Hill. I like how they got that dude that looked a lot like Vincent Price. I could almost see some of the woke stuff going on or whatever. But at the same time, like, it was done so well. And the effects that were going into it. And the way they presented it, it was like, wow, dude, that's cool. That is a good, well-made movie. If you guys can find it, shit, what was that? The 2006, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 2006 remake. That one, unfortunately, has eluded me on DVD. But that's definitely a good one. Right down to how in the original, the 59 classic, they show you, oh yeah, he's a rich billionaire, this and that, and him and his wife don't get along, and she wants to have this party, and he's like, well, fine. And they have this fight, and it, but they still agree on the guest list, even though she doesn't like it. He's like, well, you want it. These are our friends. This is the way it's gonna be done. And he's a dick, but in the new one, it's really in your face that she's just a cunt. K-U-N-T. And the other one, he's vicious, but in a way he's justified for it. Well, no, he's justified in the first one, and it does come out. Wow, he's really getting excited here. He can smell that sausage. But no, in the original, he's justified, but they leave it to the very end, and it's sort of in your face. Where this one, dude, right from the start, you're just like, God, I can't wait till this bitch gets it. But he's like, they explain his backstory more, where they're like, he does these weird carnival rides. Shit, the ride that's in the beginning, they're on this elevator thing, and then they're going up, like, I guess, like 3 flights or 30 flights or some shit like that. And they're going all the way up, and all of a sudden the shit's breaking, and you're even thinking, watching it on camera, like, you're watching the movie thinking, oh, shit, I guess we're not going to get a movie after all. Well, we know Mr. Price is going to be the one that's haunting the place. And the thing drops, this and that, and right as it's going to hit, you think they're all three going to die. Like, well, I'll let you see. But what I will tell you, the way they did it and the way they proceeded through the whole rest of the movie, it's a great remake. I really do appreciate the movie for what it is. And it's another one, maybe not quite as much as I respect what was done with the 90 version of Night of the Living Dead, but I'll tell you, I respect it enough that I would own it. It's a good movie that I do appreciate, and I watch it on Tubi all the time. I guess Tubi got a free shout out. There you go. But no, I mean that, really. For those of you guys watching, just for the record, because I know I'm getting off track here a little bit cooking these. Normally I do cook my sausage with syrup on the top, and I cook the syrup on it. I'm hesitant to do that because if you look close enough at my grill, I'm not sure if you'll make it out on the TV here on the little screen. There's little black smirches that I still can't get off of it. So I'm hesitant to put the syrup on here and do that again. That's one. that we're gonna end up doing like in a pan. You know. Anyway, but that's, so for those of you who know my cooking and know how I do my sausage, that's why we're not doing it today. That being said, these are getting really, really good. So I think it's about time that we crank up the heat. Oh! You know, I always say, you can't start a good night without a healthy breakfast. And you know, I think that being said, let's crank it up to nightmare heat. Alright. Again, those of you who know me, you know what I do to my food. And most of my food is never normal. Today being the case as well. Now, ow. The third movie that I would tell you is just as good, or at least just as well respectable as the original, would be 13 Ghosts, which, again, great remake for what it was. I could appreciate it. It was well made. It was done right. Whoop. Whoa, shit. That one's gonna look cool. Alright. Now, I'm kind of taking the camera from Cam Pam here so I can give you guys a good look at what I'm doing from my end. Sorry for the awkward angles there, but I wanted you guys to be able to get a good solid look here. There you go. Now, oh, god damn it. Ow. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's one. Now, we got two more. Alright, now what was I saying? The remake for 13 Ghosts, I gotta be honest, I love the 1957 classic. Love it. I couldn't love it more. It's one of the most well-made remakes I've ever seen in my life. And the special effects, and it's for what they are, I'm not a huge fan, but the way they used the CGI, it was done tastefully. It wasn't too much, and it was done in all the right places. I don't know what the hell I did with my blue food coloring from our muffins. I wanted to throw some blue into this. Oh well. No liberal tears tonight. Anyway. But that's, I gotta say that is, but as far as a general rule, because I've tried to give the remakes a shot, I've really tried to, you know, at least be open, you know? It's like my mother used to say, don't knock it until you've tried it. as far as a general rule, I'm gonna knock it all I want, because I tried it, and it fucking sucks. Somebody's gotta say it, and I'm gonna be the guy to say it. It fucking sucks. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna throw a couple of these waffles onto this grill right here, and I am going to heat them up just for a little bit, couple minutes. Now you gotta watch them, keep them always in motion. You're gonna burn them. You don't want to burn them. You're just heating them up. In fact, I'm gonna put this simply on a low heat. It's not even gonna be on a real heat. Just like that. Yeah, I think I like that. That's good. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna flip it. And you'll notice it's kind of charring a little bit. So you really gotta be careful. You've gotta keep this in motion. You don't want to char those. Sometimes I kind of play a game. I like to go along with the music because it's kind of... Unplug that. And now we're just going to keep these in motion until the grill starts to cool down. But no, the 13 Ghosts, in fact, if you look it up on YouTube, it is all over YouTube. And 13 Ghosts, you know, the 57 Classic is cool. It's really good story-wise. But this one, I like how they put more thought into how to present the ghosts and make it scary. Make it something like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Alright, flip this over again. Now, while these, hopefully, this is cold enough I can get away, I'm going to get into the fridge and grab the butter. Maybe. And I got that cream that we made earlier. In fact, we froze it. Kinda. That'll give you a good look at it. That's the cream we made earlier. So, you'll see what we're going to do with that. It may not be whipped cream, but it may still work nonetheless, and it might just look cool. The only thing I regret is not dyeing it green. Alright. Now, I need a butter knife. Oh, I really do need a butter knife. There it is. What we're gonna do, first thing we're gonna do, is we're gonna close this up and make sure that there isn't another mess in the bed. Because, quite frankly, 90% of the reason we go through blankets as quickly as we do is after 1 year, one season of it being cold, our blankets usually look like a fucking hippie slept over and got bored. Tie-dye Stitty, man. Wow. Dude. Far out. Kind of forgot about these, didn't we? Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. Now, I'm gonna butter that up. Just like that. Then we're gonna take some of this cream. Damn. And we're gonna put this cream right in on top. Alright. Now, we're going to take our candied sugar, colored sugar, whatever you're going to call it. Just a little bit, just like that. Now we're going to take another waffle. We're going to butter that. And there you go. Let's shed a little extra light on this. Wow, okay, that's a lot of extra light. Okay. Wow. Here you go. And that's pretty close to being just about it for me, my friends. I am tired. I am completely out of it tonight, obviously. But I hope you guys had some fun nonetheless. Some of the stuff we did worked, some of it didn't, but it was all a bit of a learning experience. I learned from now on, I'm going to stick to my recipe for whipped cream. I trust my recipe. I like my recipe. We're going to leave it at that. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic night, and I will see you next time, where we'll be showing, well, I guess showing, yeah, because I did make a video for it again, but we'll be listening to I Know What You Need. Night Shift, once again. This one in particular, again, it'll kind of get under your skin. It'll fuck with your psyche. So if you're one of those that you're uncomfortable with that subject, I would advise maybe not, you know. But if you're cool with it, come on by. It's a great story, and I think the end of it, there's something about the end of it that just leaves you with that, you feel better. It's not Stephen King's normal, abrupt, oh my god, what the fuck. It's more, you know, he leaves you with something there. And those of you who are familiar with The Grinder and tonight's story, and I think even last week's story, The Grinder makes an appearance in that story as well. So I hope you guys will hang out with us and stick around for that one. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm really done.